Imagine a life where the little things no longer get under your skin, where setbacks don't knock you down, and where external judgments seem to drift away like leaves in the wind. Does this sound like some far-fetched fantasy in our chaotic, screen-driven, comparison-fueled world? Yet the ancient Stoics, wise philosophers who walked the earth thousands of years ago, seem to have discovered an approach that can help us achieve just that. This journey is not about becoming indifferent or unfeeling. Rather, it's about cultivating inner peace, understanding the nature of control, and letting go of unnecessary anxieties. It's about discovering true strength, the kind that doesn't need the approval of others and doesn't crumble in the face of adversity. Imagine living with that calm, enduring strength, unaffected by the constant noise around you. This is the art of Stoicism, a practice that transcends ages and digital barriers, teaching us to navigate life with grace, wisdom, and resilience. Now, are you ready to dive in? Allow me to introduce Alex, our modern-day wanderer who stumbled upon Stoicism while searching for ways to find peace amidst the pressures of the world. Each principle he uncovers changes his perspective little by little, until he masters the art of not caring and finally lets go. Will you join Alex on his journey? And perhaps take away insights that might just transform your own path? Let's begin with the first principle. 1. Control what's within, release what's without. Alex found himself staring blankly at the rain pouring down, realizing he was late. Again. His train was delayed, his plans disrupted, and frustration began creeping in, gnawing at his patience. How often, he wondered, do we let circumstances we can't control dictate our emotions? Why is it that when something goes awry, our mood takes a nosedive, dragging our entire day along with it? This question is the heart of the first Stoic principle: control what's within and release what's without. The Stoics believed that true peace and freedom lie not in bending the world to our will, but in mastering our reactions to it. We cannot control the rain, the trains, or the unforeseen hiccups that arise in daily life, but we can control our response. In that moment, Alex remembered a line from Epictetus: "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." A new way of seeing obstacles. Have you ever been in a similar situation, where an uncontrollable event threw a wrench into your plans and soured your entire day? Stoicism teaches us that while the world will keep throwing curveballs, we can decide how we react. We have a choice in every situation: let it control us or rise above it. The moment we choose the latter, we're practicing true freedom. This principle isn't about suppressing emotion or pretending nothing matters. Rather, it's about putting things into perspective. Imagine life as a stage where every setback and inconvenience is just part of the scenery. You are the actor, free to choose your reactions, even if you can't change the stage itself. Alex discovered that when we stop trying to control the uncontrollable, we free ourselves from unnecessary turmoil. Applying control in modern life. Think about the last time your Wi-Fi was down in the middle of an important call, or the way traffic derailed your perfect schedule. What if, instead of anger or frustration, you chose to let it go? Alex now saw each of these moments as an opportunity for growth. A reminder that, in the grand scheme of things, these inconveniences were small, temporary disturbances, and that he had power over his reaction. Embracing this Stoic perspective didn't mean Alex's life was suddenly free of challenges. Rather, it meant he was no longer enslaved by them. He wasn't powerless against delays or disruptions anymore because he had claimed control over his own response. Next time you encounter a similar obstacle, ask yourself, is it the event itself or your reaction to it that's causing distress? What can you let go of to find peace in the moment? Practice this first principle and notice how the little things start losing their grip on your day. 2. Embrace the present moment. One weekend, Alex found himself distracted at a family gathering. Surrounded by laughter and conversation, his mind was elsewhere, thinking about a project deadline, worrying over a recent disagreement, and replaying an embarrassing moment from a week ago. As he stood there, barely engaged in the present, he realized how often he missed the now by living in some other time. This moment of realization led Alex to the second principle of Stoicism, embracing the present moment. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled with both a sword and a pen, wrote about the fleeting nature of life, urging us to immerse ourselves in the present rather than losing ourselves in the past or future. In modern life, the present moment is perhaps one of the most elusive treasures. Notifications ping constantly, news cycles refresh hourly, and our worries pull us into a seemingly endless spiral of what-ifs and if-onlys. But Stoicism teaches that true peace resides in the here and now. The past is gone, the future uncertain. All we truly have is this moment. Discovering the now with a simple pause. Intrigued, Alex decided to experiment with being fully present. He began with small, everyday moments, sipping his coffee in the morning without glancing at his phone, or listening to his friend's story without planning his response. And as he did, he discovered something profound. Life felt fuller, richer. When he was truly present, the weight of past mistakes and future worries faded. He realized that most of his stress came from either reliving mistakes he couldn't change or anticipating problems that hadn't even happened. By choosing to focus on the present moment, Alex found himself more at peace, more connected, and even more grateful. Have you noticed how easy it is to drift away from the present, to find yourself sitting in a room full of people, yet entirely alone in your mind? Stoicism challenges us to reclaim our focus, to savor each moment, and to be aware of life as it unfolds. When we train ourselves to be present, we're not only living more fully, but we're also freeing ourselves from the burdens of regret and worry. How to embrace the present moment daily. This doesn't mean Alex became immune to worries or regrets overnight. Rather, he started building simple habits to anchor himself in the now. For instance, he began by practicing mindful walking, truly feeling each step, the air around him, the sounds in the background. He also began setting aside a few moments each evening to reflect on the day's small joys, a kind gesture, a laugh, or even the warmth of his bed. You can do this too. The next time you find yourself distracted, try grounding yourself in the moment. Look around. What do you see, hear, feel? Breathe deeply, savor each inhale and exhale. This practice helped Alex reconnect with the joy of simple experiences. Meals became more flavorful, conversations more meaningful, and even daily routines felt renewed. It's remarkable how much of life's richness is found in the present moment when we commit to living in it. As you practice, you might begin to notice small, beautiful details in your everyday life that have always been there, waiting for you to look closer. Embracing the present moment, Alex discovered, wasn't just about avoiding stress. It was about cultivating appreciation. He found a deep sense of peace in the here and now, a peace that couldn't be disturbed by tomorrow's uncertainties or yesterday's mistakes. With each passing day, he was slowly mastering the art of letting go of what he couldn't change. And with this newfound strength, he was ready to explore the next principle. 3. Accept change as nature's course. Alex's life was comfortable and familiar, until it wasn't. He had been working at the same company for several years, growing accustomed to his role and the people he worked with. Then one day, news broke. His department was being downsized, and Alex's position was suddenly in jeopardy. The security he had come to rely on vanished in an instant, leaving him feeling adrift and uncertain. As Alex wrestled with this unexpected shift, he encountered the third Stoic principle: accept change as nature's course. The Stoic philosophers saw change as inevitable, as natural as the seasons, and as fundamental as life itself. The universe is change, Marcus Aurelius observed, and our life is what our thoughts make of it. Learning to see change differently. Alex struggled to accept this at first. How could he just embrace losing a job he had poured his energy into for years? How was he supposed to let go of the plans he had built on that foundation? But then he remembered something else he'd read. Instead of viewing change as a loss, Alex tried to see it as an invitation. Could this upheaval be an opportunity in disguise? Was it possible that life was nudging him towards something new, something he wouldn't have chosen on his own? With time, Alex's perspective began to shift. Rather than fearing what he was losing, he started to feel curious about what might come next. Have you ever been faced with an unexpected change that threw you off course? Maybe it was a job, a relationship, or a move to a new city. How did you respond? Did you resist it, clinging to what was, or were you able to lean into it, allowing it to shape you in new ways? Stoicism reminds us that change, while often uncomfortable, is an essential part of growth. How to accept change gracefully. To help himself embrace change, Alex adopted a few simple practices. First, he started by acknowledging his feelings honestly. Stoicism doesn't ask us to ignore our emotions. Rather, it encourages us to understand them. Alex gave himself time to feel his frustration and disappointment, but he didn't let these emotions control him. Instead, he used them as fuel to move forward. Next, he began to focus on adaptability as a skill. Instead of seeing his future as a fixed destination, he started to view it as an open path. Just as a river flows around rocks and bends, he could learn to navigate life's obstacles by remaining flexible. He asked himself, "What can I learn from this? How can this challenge make me stronger?" In this way, Alex came to understand change as a part of life's rhythm. Just as trees shed their leaves in autumn, only to bloom again in spring, life's transitions allow us to shed what no longer serves us and make space for what's to come. When he stopped seeing change as something to resist, he found that it was easier to let go and adapt, finding freedom in letting go of resistance. Through this process, Alex began to feel a new sense of freedom. Without the need to cling to old circumstances or fear the unknown, he was free to explore new opportunities, to learn and grow in unexpected ways. He discovered that the less he resisted change, the more resilient he became. Accepting change doesn't mean giving up on your dreams or letting go of what matters. It simply means recognizing that the world will continue to evolve, and so must we. In this acceptance lies a profound strength, a strength that allows us to face each new chapter with courage and openness. As Alex let go of his resistance, he found himself ready to embrace whatever the future might hold. He wasn't yet certain of the next steps, but he no longer felt the need to be. With each day, he was beginning to trust the flow of life, secure in the knowledge that he had the tools to navigate whatever lay ahead. Having embraced the nature of change, Alex was ready to explore the next principle, a lesson that would teach him the art of releasing his need for external validation. 4. Detach from external validation. As Alex scrolled through his social media feed one evening, he noticed a sinking feeling in his chest. Friends and acquaintances seemed to be thriving. New promotions, vacation photos, exciting announcements, and he couldn't shake the nagging feeling that he somehow fell short in comparison. Why did he feel this way? And why did the validation of others matter so much to him? In that moment, Alex stumbled upon the fourth Stoic principle: detach from external validation. Stoicism teaches us that self-worth should come from within, grounded in our values, character, and actions, rather than in the fleeting approval of others. Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher, captured this well. Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. This idea invited Alex to turn his focus inward, freeing himself from the pressures of external judgment, realizing the influence of external validation. It's easy to see how Alex got caught up in this cycle. In a world where likes, shares, and comments have become social currency, it's natural to crave acknowledgement from others. But Stoicism reminds us that this need for approval can trap us, turning our self-worth into a reflection of others' opinions rather than our own values. When we place our happiness in the hands of others, we become vulnerable to their whims and judgments, losing sight of our own path. Have you ever found yourself feeling the same way? Perhaps you've posted something, only to anxiously wait for likes to roll in, or felt a pang of envy at someone else's achievements. How often do you look to others for validation? And what might happen if you learn to seek it within? For Alex, these questions became transformative. He realized that, much like a house built on shaky foundations, his confidence would remain unstable as long as it depended on the approval of others. And so, he set out to build a stronger foundation, a foundation rooted in self-acceptance and self-respect. Practicing inner validation in daily life. To shift his focus from external validation to inner validation, Alex adopted a few simple practices. First, he made a habit of acknowledging his own accomplishments, no matter how small. Each day he'd reflect on what he had done well, whether it was completing a task, reaching out to a friend, or simply taking time for himself. This act of self-recognition helped him build a sense of worth that wasn't reliant on others. He also began setting goals that aligned with his personal values, rather than what he thought others expected of him. For instance, instead of pursuing a promotion solely for status, he focused on developing skills that genuinely interested him. By doing so, he found fulfillment in his achievements, regardless of how they appeared to others. Have you considered what motivates your own goals and actions? Are they driven by a desire to impress others? Or do they reflect your true interests and values? Stoicism encourages us to cultivate a sense of purpose that is rooted in our own ideals, liberating us from the chase for approval. Finding peace in being true to oneself. As Alex continued this practice, he felt a shift. Without the constant need for validation, he experienced a new kind of peace, a peace that couldn't be shaken by the opinions of others. His confidence grew, not because he suddenly had more praise, but because he no longer depended on it. He learned to be content in simply being himself, realizing that true worth came not from others' approval, but from living a life aligned with his values. Imagine a life where you are free from the anxiety of public opinion, where your worth is defined by your own virtues rather than others' judgments. This is the essence of Stoicism, finding strength within, regardless of external voices. Alex found that by letting go of his need for external validation, he had unlocked a new level of freedom, one that allowed him to pursue his goals without fear or doubt. With this newfound confidence, Alex was ready to face the next Stoic principle, a truth that would teach him to find beauty in life's natural cycles of gain and loss. 5. Recognize life's natural cycles. It was a rainy afternoon when Alex received a call from his mother. She gently broke the news that their family dog, Max, had passed away peacefully. Max had been a loyal companion, a constant presence in Alex's life, and the news hit him harder than he expected. As he sat alone in his apartment, a wave of memories washed over him. The countless walks, the playful moments, the comfort Max had offered through life's ups and downs. And now, Max was gone. Reflecting on this loss, Alex was reminded of the fifth Stoic principle: recognize life's natural cycles. The Stoics understood that everything in life is temporary and that change, loss, and transformation are as natural as the changing of the seasons. Marcus Aurelius captured this idea beautifully. Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. Understanding the seasons of life. At first, this idea was hard for Alex to accept. Losing Max felt unfair, and he struggled with the emptiness left behind. But as he pondered the Stoic perspective, he began to see life as a vast, interconnected ecosystem. Just as trees shed their leaves in the fall and new growth emerges in spring, every aspect of life undergoes its own seasons, beginnings, endings, and rebirths. Each phase has its purpose, and while one season may bring joy, another might teach resilience. Have you ever experienced a similar loss or transition? Perhaps a beloved pet, a close friend who moved away, or a cherished part of your life that had to end. How did you handle it? Did you try to hold on, or did you find a way to let go? Stoicism encourages us to appreciate each moment fully, knowing that all things will eventually pass. By recognizing life's cycles, we can let go of what was and make space for what will be. Honoring loss without clinging to it. In the days that followed Max's passing, Alex found solace in reflecting on their time together. He remembered the joy Max had brought, and he allowed himself to feel gratitude rather than just sadness. He realized that, while he could not hold on to Max forever, he could honor their memories by keeping them alive in his heart. To help himself accept this cycle of loss, Alex turned to a Stoic exercise, memento mori, or remembering the impermanence of life. Instead of dreading change or trying to cling to the past, he chose to see each moment as precious precisely because it wouldn't last. This perspective allowed him to appreciate both the beautiful memories of Max and the natural cycle that had now drawn to a close. Imagine if you approached each day, each relationship, and each phase of life with this awareness. How would it change the way you experience them? Would you live more fully, love more deeply, knowing that everything is transient? Stoicism teaches us that when we accept impermanence, we can cherish what we have while it's here and release it gracefully when it's gone. Making peace with life's impermanence. As Alex let go of the desire to keep things unchanged, he felt a new sense of peace. He no longer saw life's transitions as losses, but as natural evolutions. By accepting impermanence, he found himself more open to embracing new experiences, unafraid of what might come or go. Life, in all its seasons, felt richer and more meaningful. This wasn't to say he stopped grieving Max. The grief was still there, but it was tempered by gratitude and acceptance. Alex understood that loss was simply part of life's rhythm, a rhythm that moves through joy, sorrow, growth, and release. The Stoics teach us that by respecting this rhythm, we can find balance in both good times and bad, knowing that neither will last forever. In letting go of what he couldn't keep, Alex discovered a new freedom, a willingness to move forward with an open heart, unburdened by fear of the future. And as he embraced this wisdom, he was ready to explore the next Stoic principle, a lesson in finding strength through life's inevitable challenges. Seek growth in adversity. A few weeks after saying goodbye to Max, Alex found himself facing another challenge: financial stress. Unexpected expenses had piled up, and his once manageable budget now felt overwhelming. Frustrated and worried, he found himself wondering why life seemed to throw one difficulty after another his way. Why couldn't things just be easy, if only for a little while? Then he remembered the sixth Stoic principle: seek growth in adversity. For the Stoics, challenges are not setbacks, but opportunities. chances for the mind to grow stronger, for character to deepen, and for resilience to flourish. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, once remarked, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." This wisdom transformed Alex's perspective, helping him see his financial struggles not as a burden, but as a chance to build inner strength. Redefining hardships as lessons. Alex took a step back and examined his situation. Instead of viewing his challenges as unfair obstacles, he began to see them as teachers. If adversity was life's way of training him, then perhaps he could emerge from these struggles more resilient, resourceful, and wise. With this mindset, he set out to face his financial troubles head-on, determined to learn from every hardship. Have you ever faced a challenge that seemed insurmountable? A situation that tested you, pushing you to the edge of your comfort zone? How did you respond? Did it defeat you, or did you grow because of it? Stoicism encourages us to view adversity as an opportunity for growth, reminding us that our true strength is revealed not in easy times, but in how we rise to meet difficulty. Turning challenges into strengths. Alex started small. He reevaluated his spending, created a stricter budget, and looked for ways to increase his income, such as taking on freelance projects. At first, these changes felt uncomfortable, but as he persevered, he found himself adapting, becoming more disciplined and resourceful. His financial struggles taught him skills he hadn't previously valued: planning, resilience, and delayed gratification. With each hurdle, he reminded himself to ask a simple question: what can I learn from this? Imagine applying this mindset in your own life. Think of the next difficulty you encounter, not as a setback, but as a gym for the soul, a place where your mind and character are tested and strengthened. What might change if you welcomed challenges with curiosity, seeing them as teachers rather than burdens? Stoicism teaches us that adversity is a powerful force for growth, a chance to cultivate resilience and inner strength that serve us long after the challenges have passed. Building resilience for the future. As Alex embraced this perspective, he began to see himself differently. He no longer saw adversity as an unwelcome guest, but as a companion on his journey, shaping him into a more resilient, capable person. The financial stress hadn't disappeared, but his approach to it had transformed. Instead of feeling defeated, he felt empowered, knowing that he had the skills to navigate life's inevitable difficulties. Each challenge, Alex realized, was a stepping stone, a building block for a stronger, wiser self. By embracing hardship, he was preparing himself for future trials, arming himself with the tools to face whatever came next. In a way, his struggles had become a form of self-mastery, teaching him the art of perseverance and resilience. With newfound confidence in his ability to grow through hardship, Alex felt ready for the next Stoic lesson, a principle that would shift his focus from material wealth to a deeper, more enduring source of contentment. 7. Cultivate inner riches. One evening, as Alex walked through the bustling city streets, he couldn't help but notice the glittering displays in store windows: luxury watches, designer clothes, the latest gadgets. Everywhere he looked, people seemed captivated by the idea that happiness could be bought, wrapped, and carried home in a bag. Alex had once been the same, chasing after things he thought would bring him fulfillment, only to find that each new purchase left him wanting more. But as he remembered the Stoic principles he'd been practicing, a new realization dawned. True wealth wasn't found in things, it was found within. This brings us to the seventh and final Stoic principle Alex discovered on his journey. Cultivate inner riches. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Understanding the concept of inner riches, Alex began to question what he truly valued in life. Was it the clothes he wore, the car he drove, or the reputation he upheld? Or was it the quality of his relationships, the memories he shared, and the peace he felt in simply being present? Stoicism teaches that while it's natural to enjoy life's pleasures, real happiness comes from within, from a sense of purpose, self-awareness, and a life well lived. Have you ever wondered what truly makes you feel rich? Is it the thrill of a new purchase? Or is it the contentment of a meaningful conversation, a quiet morning, or a deep sense of purpose? Stoicism invites us to look beyond external symbols of success and cultivate wealth that cannot fade, a wealth of the soul, built on values, virtues, and experiences, choosing inner fulfillment over external gain. Inspired by this insight, Alex began to focus on experiences and practices that enriched his spirit rather than his possessions. Instead of spending his weekends at the mall, he took long walks in nature, savoring the beauty of the world around him. He began journaling, reflecting on the day's events, and noting the things he was grateful for. He dedicated time to volunteering, finding joy in helping others, and making a difference, however small, in someone else's life. Over time, he found that this pursuit of inner riches brought him a deeper satisfaction than anything he had ever bought. He felt free from the cycle of wanting, buying, and wanting again, realizing that he was already rich in the things that truly mattered: friendship, kindness, purpose, and peace. These inner riches filled him with a sense of completeness that material wealth could never achieve. Consider this for yourself. What are the things in your life that truly make you feel whole? Are they possessions, or are they experiences, connections, and values? By choosing to focus on inner fulfillment, we release ourselves from the endless chase for more and embrace the contentment of enough. Embracing the wealth of simplicity. Alex's journey to cultivate inner riches didn't mean he abandoned all material pleasures. Rather, he learned to enjoy them without being attached to them. If he indulged in a nice meal or a treat, he did so mindfully, with gratitude rather than a sense of entitlement. He found joy in simple pleasures, reading a good book, spending time with friends, or watching the sunset. He discovered that the richness of life lay not in having more, but in needing less. This transformation was profound. Alex no longer measured his worth by what he owned, but by who he was becoming. He saw life not as a race to accumulate, but as an opportunity to grow, to connect, and to appreciate. Stoicism had taught him to cultivate a wealth that couldn't be bought, that didn't depreciate, and that would remain with him, regardless of life's circumstances. Finding contentment beyond the material world. In learning to cultivate inner riches, Alex found a deep, lasting contentment. He understood that his true wealth was not in his bank account, but in his heart and mind. His experiences, relationships, and the virtues he pursued filled him with a satisfaction that no possession ever could. By letting go of the need for external validation and embracing simplicity, he had found freedom, a freedom to live authentically, without the burden of always needing more. As his journey came full circle, Alex realized he had discovered a new art, the art of letting go. He was no longer tethered to material things or the opinions of others. He had mastered the Stoic principles, cultivating a life of resilience, purpose, and inner peace. Alex's journey through the Stoic principles transformed his life, teaching him to control what he could, embrace the present, accept change, release the need for validation, honor life's cycles, grow through adversity, and seek inner wealth over external gain. In mastering these principles, he had found a kind of freedom he had once thought impossible, a freedom rooted in self-acceptance, resilience, and peace. Are you ready to take these principles into your own life? Which of these Stoic insights resonates most deeply with you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's start a conversation about how these timeless ideas can help us all find balance and strength in our modern world. If you found value in this journey with Alex, consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with others who may benefit from a touch of Stoic wisdom. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the timeless art of Stoicism. May you carry these principles with you, embracing life with grace, wisdom, and the courage to let go.